once you have your Google Places up, it certainly isn't just going to go to the top by time or just by luck. There are numerous ways to obviously increase your chances to get to the top and stay to the top. One key way that I know a lot of firms and a lot of experts are keen on, and that's obviously something that every attorney can do, because that's our goal, is to give as much practical information for attorneys that they can go out there and do this on their own, is to do research on the top 3 listings in each of the areas that you're trying to focus on, and see, number 1, how is their profile built out? Do they have a complete profile? How many reviews do they have on their profile, which is also very important. Having your clients go in, review. Is everyone still there? Okay, I'm going to go on here. Having your clients go in, give you reviews on each of your Places pages. Could someone hit mute, please, on their phone? It's giving me a lot of feedback. Secondly, to go through, and in the bottom of each of these Places pages on your competitors' websites, they'll have links that say more about this place. This is important because they give these sites preference whenever they found information and citation information or links back to this particular person's page, to Virginia's page on these sites. And these are sites that you can go to and request that you share your information with, just by simply emailing them and saying, dear sir, madam, I would like to trade, my business listing information with you, and, I will kindly post the same, your information on my website. And that's something that is common practice in the SEO world. It happens all the time. It's a very boring process, but it does work. It allows you to get your citation and your business information on other, it's mostly non-competitive sites that will be indexed and are relevant to Google. Once you have your page in place and you've gone through and you've optimized it, you've set your categories, you've added your additional information, you feel like you have a very good profile built out, you have gone through and you feel like you've captured all of your citations, all of your listings on the major sites, there are additional services that you can do yourself, or you can employ other services to do, such as creating. There's hundreds of citation sites out in the web world that you can either, if you have time on your hands, simply go through, research, enter in your business information as it is on your Google Places page, and eventually Google will get to those websites, index that information, and see it as another valued source, thus, propelling your listing to the top. So basically, the more citations, the more business listings that you have throughout the web, the more valid Google feels like that this information is, because they're able to find it, it's consistent, and it's spread across the web. Once you have done all of this wonderful stuff.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I'm sorry, this is Steve. I had to break away for a moment. Somebody had called me on my cell phone, and I don't know if I missed it, but I understand that the links back to your page are very important. Are there ways to get links back to your page?
Of course, yeah. There's several ways, and I just discussed that. The best way to do it, obviously, is to build citations back to your Places page from other citations. Secondly, is to go through and research your competitors, what they are doing. For instance, from your website, for instance, on Virginia's page, she has a listing from California at DUISaint.com, from NewportBar.org, from San Diego DUI, and Google is showing these because they feel like they're relevant and they have high preference. The best way to target those is to literally go through, see where your highest ranking competitors have linked to on these sites, and just reverse engineer it. It's that simple. You just go through and request that you have the same link and same listing back from these websites. And it seems that you're following. The best way to get to the top is to follow the same steps that the people currently there have done, and it will propel you. The thing that you have to hope to do is that you're building more citations consistently across the web on your own, that eventually that you will dominate this particular key phrase and area.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The other important factor, and this is always an interesting one to people because they say, well, what's this going to do for me? First of all, I think we showed you that, essentially it's taking up so much of the first page that the practice, the still important practice of SEO, is becoming more difficult, more challenging, because it's, being in that first one or two is so extremely important, because they're showing 3 organic listings for San Antonio Medical Malpractice Attorney, and most of the time this is true, holds true throughout the entire web. Secondly, people do utilize the places pages, and for instance, Google is very good about giving you free analytics. So for each of your listings, they will give you impression information, which is obviously how many people saw your listing, which is important. What queries they used, key phrases they used to generate this impression information, and then obviously where driving directions requests come from. And I always find this interesting because if someone goes to the trouble of getting driving directions to your website, I think it's a pretty good indicator that they had a high level of interest in seeking information, and you could see that as at least a valuable impression. The other factor are actions to your website, not just impressions. Actions typically are people who click through to your website for further information, and or they will want driving directions to your location. Thus, obviously actions are probably more important than just plain impressions, but impressions are also important because a lot of times people will just see your phone number, pick up the phone, and call. The one thing that I can stress that's important across not only local listings, but throughout your websites and other areas are client reviews. They speak volumes to potential clients and customers. I know Yelp is, its whole practice is built off of reviews and information fed back from potential customers or past customers. So it's important that you pay close attention to that, because it can sometimes spiral out of control as far as someone going to your page and giving you a negative review. It's important that obviously you manage that process, and you want as many positives as possible. It's also important that you do not spam it and have your friends go in with their account and put up fake reviews. It just it's very obvious in consumers, and it doesn't look good. The final piece of this entire process is that basically you need to go in and claim your profile. The most basic thing that you can do, and probably the most important, is to go in, just verify your business and your listing. Even if you have no interest in building it out, you still want to go in and verify your listing. It's very, very important. At some point, you'll want to go in and build this out. Google is only taking this further. They only have more interest in monetizing the local and places pages and having that become more of a relevant factor for your areas. So if I could stress one thing, it certainly is claim your listing, go through the verification process, which is very simple, and follow the steps that we talked about today, and to be successful.